See guys, what we have seen is that free trade is beneficial to countries, okay, in the sense that it maximizes world output, right, and it is beneficial for nations. In the sense that earlier they were not able to consume that much without trade, as compared to the situation in which if trade is allowed, how much they are able to consume. We have seen this in our earlier recordings in earlier chapters of Salvatore, that free trade has been beneficial. In spite of knowing this, that free trade is beneficial, most of the countries, they put certain restrictions on free trade. Most of the countries, they put certain restrictions of free trade. And there are various ways in which these restrictions can be put. But the question arises, is that the entire nation wants to restrict free trade, or there are certain groups who are hurt by free trade, only they are going to propagate this restriction. That is, they are generally by a group of people whose interests are hurt, right? Whose interests are hurt by free trade. So what you have is that even though we know that free trade is beneficial, free trade maximizes world output, but still nations put restrictions, and these restrictions are generally advocated by a group of people whose own interests are hampered by free trade. Okay, the ways these restrictions can function is through tariffs. That is one way. There are other ways also. So, but this is the first way. These tariffs. We'll also talk about non-tariff barriers in the next chapter. But here we're talking about tariffs, and this tariff could be import tariff or export tariff. So one is your import tariff, other is export tariff, right? So when you talk about import tariff, so import tariff is like a duty which you will have to pay, duty on imported commodity. Duty on imported commodity when it crosses the nation. So for example, if I'm sitting in India, you are sitting in US, and I bought something from you, so the moment your commodity will cross Indian border, so that has to be paid with the tariff. Okay, so tariff will be imposed on that particular commodity. Now, export tariffs are duty on exported commodity, right? Duty on exported commodity. That's what this thing means, export tariff. So we have seen this import tariffs. Now we are basically going to talk about import tariffs, right? And these tariffs, they're also of several kinds. They can be ad valorem, specific or compound. So let me just write it. It could be ad valorem, specific or compound tariff. So for example, the price